So hello, my name is Shannon Graves and I'm the principal at Giaudrone. Welcome to our presentation. We want to start the slideshow with our agenda. So we're going to talk a little bit about our International Baccalaureate program and the academics that are associated with that. Mr. Peirce, our assistant principal, who's also live on with us tonight, will share a little bit about our school culture and climate and our athletics program. I will continue to share about our language program and our CTE program that's tied to design. And then we'll save the very end for some questions and answers. If you will put your questions into our chat, we will get to that at the end, go back and read the questions and then answer the questions for you. So a little bit of housekeeping before we start. We are recording. We cannot see you and we cannot hear you, but we will be able to see the questions in the chat. So that will be how we will communicate with each other. So a little bit about IB. IB is International Baccalaureate Program, and Giaudrone is one of the middle schools. We also have Hunt, who is joining us as an IB school, and we also have Wainwright over that also is IB. We have a couple of IB elementary schools, and then we also have Foss High School, which is our feeder school if students want to continue with our IB program. So a little bit about IB. Academics is your student will have 8 core subject areas, and each of those subject areas are weighted the same for IB. IB is very whole child focused, and that all of these classes and all of these experiences for kids round out a student so that they have a full, richer experience. Comprehensive middle schools have elective classes where we don't necessarily use those as electives. They're part of our program. So all students will get PE and our language acquisition, which is foreign language, and then our language and literature. I know that ELA is a lot of the times the way the district refers to our language and literature. Individuals and societies, which is social studies, mathematics, design, which is very special to International Baccalaureate School, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a bit, our arts program, and then sciences. We have some specialty programs that are associated with our IB. We have a design class, which again is special to International Baccalaureate, and we use for our 7th and 8th graders our CTE program. So students will take a CTE class, a culinary, our agricultural science, robotics, game design, or digital media in a design cycle. And so for our 6th graders, we have a technology course that has some, it's a technology course that has some coding in it that Mr. Newberger teaches. We also have our foreign language or language acquisition program. We offer Korean, Spanish, and French, which is very unique to Giaudrone. Most other schools only have one offering of language, and not all students elect to take a language, where all our kids, it's a required course for 6th, 7th, and 8th. In 6th grade, our students will have a kind of a carousel where they will get a little bit of Korean, a little bit of Spanish, and a little bit of French. And then as a 7th grader, they choose which language they prefer to continue on with. What's also very special is that students in completion of a C or better of a foreign language will also be able to take a high school credit with them to the high school. We also have a performing arts and a visual arts as far as our arts program. We have band, and visual arts is drawing, painting, ceramics, and then our musical theater. All students will take 3 years of that. They will take at least 1 year of a performing art and 1 year of a visual art to round out their experience. Our individuals and societies, we're one of the schools that offer social studies or individuals and societies for all 3 grade levels. Our 6th graders take ancient civilizations, our 7th graders are in Washington State history, and then US history is for our 8th graders. Those are also full year programs where most of the comprehensive high schools will only offer a semester of the Washington State history or the US history for students. We have after school programs. We have tutoring that our teachers elect to do for an hour after school. We have, I think, 4 or 5 teachers that are currently tutoring students in math and language acquisition. I'm sorry, Lang and Lit. We have our Husky Center, which is super special for our kids for an after school program. They have a variety of clubs and special programs, dance, art, cultural experiences that they offer kids, along with some brief tutoring. We have some teachers who also offer some individual clubs that are not associated necessarily with Husky Center. Mr. Schomer teaches our yo-yo club. We've had Ms. Purrier, who's done a knitting club. And so those vary from year to year. And then because we have CTE courses, each of our CTE classes has a club that's associated with them. So we have a robotics club, a cooking club, and our agro science club. Here's some pictures of our kids, and you can see that we're very hands-on, project-based, and the kids are immersed into experiences. And at the bottom, you can also see that our kids dress up. We have spirit days and some other fun activities that Mr. Purse is going to continue to share. Mr. Purse, would you like to come on in?
All right. I think you have to select me.
There we go. I think we're in a transition.
All right. Welcome, future Huskies. First, I am the assistant principal of the school, and I'm so excited to be part of this process with you. Next slide, Ms. Grace. All right, I want to talk about culture and climate. Giaudrone is committed to preparing our students to be ready for high school, ready for life, ready to change the world. We're so excited to see students come back and share with us their experience from high school after leaving Giaudrone. And we look forward to in the future of hearing students who will come back and make a difference in our world. Secondly, we also live by, we practice our beliefs in our motto, which is to take care of yourself, take care of others, and take care of this place. And we help students to understand that process through our Husky Traits Tracker. And so that way they can partake in that process and have that ingrained in their lives as well. Giaudrone we also celebrate our IB traits, which are being an inquirer, being knowledgeable, being thinkers, being a good communicator, and being principled in life, being open-minded to other cultures and learning about other cultures, caring and expressing compassion, being risk takers, taking chances on things, whether it's academics or athletics, which we will talk about, being balanced in their lives, understanding that, you know, how we take care of our bodies, our thinking, our emotions all play a part in our growth, and also being reflective. And then lastly, Giaudrone, we're committed to restorative practices here in improving and repairing relationships between people, whether it's between students or students and staff, students and adults in our community, because we don't want to think of school as just a place of rules and consequences, but a place where we are learning to build those relationships with one another. And when we do things, part of our IB trait is if we do things that are incorrect, then we want to be able to correct that process and restore those relationships whenever possible. Next slide. All right, this one's tough. At IB, International Baccalaureate School, like Giaudrone, we help you to grow and develop these learner traits. As I had mentioned before, we celebrate these traits of being an inquirer, being knowledgeable, being a thinker and communicator, being principled, open-minded, caring, being a risk taker, balanced, and reflective. By every single month, having kind of like a student of the month, but it's our IB learner profile trait of the month, where we select students who are displaying these characteristics. So for example, this month, it is the IB trait of being a caring person. So teachers at their grade levels will gather together and select students that represent that trait. You know, in this case, it's caring, and in future months, different traits. Next. All right, talk about athletics. Now, as you can see on the screen, we have a lot of athletics. It's an exciting time for students when they come to middle school because they are introduced to 4 different sessions throughout the year. We have our fall session that incorporates boys basketball, baseball, girls soccer, and co-ed cross country. In the winter months, which is what we're experiencing right now, we have boys soccer, girls volleyball. And in the spring, we have girls basketball, which starts in February, co-ed bowling, and we also have co-ed football for 7th and 8th graders only. And then in our summer months, towards the end of the school year, we have girls fast pitch, co-ed track and field, and we also have co-ed wrestling, my favorites. There are some things that you will need to have before you start practice or participating in athletics after school. And so some of the requirements are: 1, your parents have to fill out all documents on the final forms. And students, 2, students will have to fill out all documents on the final forms after the parents initiate that. And then 3, you have to pay for an ASB to participate, and that's $15, and that covers all the sports throughout the whole year, as well as ASB activities, etc. And then lastly, students will need a current sports physical, and that is good for 13 months, starting from the time of the previous examination, not the time where doctors sign it. All those forms you can find on our school website and also the district athletics website as well. Next slide. Thank you. And lastly, choice of enrollment. It's a different process for different people. So we have our choice of application for non-neighborhood students only, and that's where you can select schools. You have to go through the process of selecting the school that you would like during January 21st. And then if you are a student that lives outside of our district, outside of the TPS boundaries, there's a different process for that. You have to waiver into the district and then be able to select the school in which you would attend. Ms. Graves, any other information?
We have some questions that are in our chat box, so I will go ahead and answer a couple of those for sure. We had a question around IEPs and special accommodations that are in the IEPs, and I want to reassure parents that students' IEPs are on an individual basis, and as a team we get together and make sure that the students are accommodated for best access and success. So IEPs and special accommodations that are in there from elementary school that transfer over to middle school would still be accommodated. We also have a question around what if your student is advanced and possibly maybe challenged classes or accelerated classes so that they don't get bored through the school year. We have found that students with 8 subjects have a lot on their plate as an IB learner. We have language acquisition, so they're learning a foreign language. They're project-based in their design classes, and they're taking a full year of that individuals and societies. We also have in our math program for our 7th and 8th, or for our 7th graders, it's an accelerated 7/8 math curriculum, so that students are prepared to take algebra as an 8th grader, which is also very challenging. So if for some chance students need to be accelerated or are still feeling that that's not challenging enough, we're very happy to sit down with parents and discuss how we can help kids stay successful and engaged in the learning. And then we also have another question that is, what is the success rate for after-school tutoring? And we find that kids that are coming to our after-school tutoring need maybe a little extra help with their homework and a chance to get caught up. So I think that students that are coming to our after-school tutoring are feeling the success. We haven't measured that specifically to who is coming because it is a drop-in basis. So students don't start at one time and continue through, so we don't have any baseline data. It's really giving them the opportunity to make the choice on whether tutoring is what they need for that day, and then what subject area. So we also have kids that pop in and will need support maybe with their language and literature class or a math class, or sometimes just time to do a project that's in that design area. Do we have any other questions? And did I answer the questions for you? I'll give just a couple more minutes for anybody that is typing that might need an extra minute. We're very happy that you joined us. We're very excited about students coming to Giaudrone and experiencing our IB program. One thing that I did forget to mention is that we do have a very special schedule. We have a 4x4 schedule, which means that students take periods 1 through 4 on 2 days a week, and periods 5 through 8, 2 days a week on an A-B rotation. And then our Wednesday class, we have kids that take all periods. And on Wednesdays, it's an opportunity for kids to dig deeper into the contents of each of those subjects. Unable to get into the meeting. Not sure. This is recorded, so you are our district will edit and then put the recording on our website so that you can go back and review any of the slides that you would like, and to listen to the presentation. So as many times as you like. So if you had a difficult time getting into the meeting, or you know somebody that had a difficult time getting into the meeting, please make sure that they know that they can access the presentation on our webpage. Mr. Purse, did you have anything else that you want to add before we close?
I do not. I'm excited to meet some new fifth graders. Oh, hearing the echo.
Oh, I have a 5th grade student at Whitman, and I'm honestly on the fence between Giaudrone or Stewart. How do students get directed to a specific school? So students live within school boundaries, so there is a natural feeder school that students in the elementary school would naturally go to. I think Whitman, a majority of Whitman students feed into Giaudrone. We also have Reed and a few kids from Mann Elementary that feed into us. We get some kids from Fawcett. And then because McCarver Elementary is an IB school, we also will get some McCarver kids because they're what we call as a primary program. If you live outside of that, and that's not what you're interested in doing. So if you decide to come to Giaudrone, we'd love it, and you're welcome to come. And in the summer, we'll do some tours if you let us have some heads up notice. We also have a 6th grade jumpstart, so students can come and be part of the building for a week without older kids. We invite parents to come and walk the halls with our kids, come and meet Mr. Purse and I. We want you to feel comfortable with the school that you're choosing and making sure that that's a right fit for you. Back to, if you decide that Stewart would be a better option for you, you would need to go on to the district website and fill out a choice enrollment, because you're not in that, maybe not in that boundary. So you can also go into the school website, TPS website, and find out what school you are naturally would feed into, to see if your student comes to Giaudrone, or if your student goes to Stewart. Did I answer your question? It's so hard when we don't have people that we can see and talk with. So we also have, what language classes do you offer for students to choose from? In 6th grade, students will take a little bit of Korean, a little bit of French, and a little bit of Spanish. And then when they enter 7th grade, they will choose which language they would prefer to continue with. And so they will have that option. So Korean, Spanish, French. And I really encourage parents to look up other schools, look up their schedules, look at what class offerings they have. And I think you will notice that Giaudrone offers such a wide range of experiences and learning for kids. And that's due to IB. Okay, it looks like we answered those questions for you. If you have anything else, you can shoot Mr. Purse or myself an email. Our emails are on our websites. And if you'd like to come in and meet with us or take a tour, you're welcome to do that too. So I have a question, and I think what the question's asking is how do we deal with bullying, and and what's our consequences that we have for kids? Mr. Purse, would you like to answer that and tell our audience a little bit more about our restorative practices?
Sure. Okay, I hope the echo is okay. I'm hearing a little echo here. Yes, we do believe in restorative practices. How's that sounding, Ms. Grace?
It sounds fine for me.
Okay. All right. So when we have students that have broken a relationship, we want to be able to restore that relationship between individuals involved. And so that just takes time for us to hear each individual and help them to understand the impact that they've had with their behaviors and all that. And we want to restore that relationship as soon as we can. But sometimes it takes time. When it comes to bullying, we have a no bullying mandate that we want to make sure that we address that issue as soon as possible. And sometimes it's ongoing because we're dealing with children. And we have great counselors that help with students as well with counseling sessions to help them understand relationships, de-escalating skills, and just better communication with others. And but definitely want to make sure that we emphasize no bullying. When it comes to punishments, you know, we deal with trying to make sure that we restore the relationship, but we also do have consequences, such as expulsions or suspensions if necessary. And we also like to involve parents in the process to understand their perspective and involve them in the process of restoring those relationships.
Mr. Purse, your voice has been cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot
but
of
I think, yeah, I think the gist of that has gone through. I also want to add too, you know, we strongly feel as our students are coming to us from the elementary school that they're still children, and we have a teach and reteach philosophy here. That we know kids are going to make mistakes. We know kids are going to be unkind at times. It's you know, kids are navigating that social arena as they come into a middle school with a multitude of classes and in a larger school environment. Our number one goal is to have students in class and learning. There are times where we do need to do restorative circle or restorative check and connect with students, but our goal is to get kids back in class and to resolve the issue. We do a lot of problem solving with kids, modeling problem solving with kids, so that they can move forward and restore those relationships, as Mr. Purse was saying. And then on the other hand, because it was really hard for I think parents to hear, was that we do have suspensions, and but we try really hard to come up with appropriate consequences for kids that also keeps kids in school. And then what if a student is afraid to tell an adult or doesn't recognize they're being bullied? We do have our counselors go into each of the classrooms throughout the year. They talk about bullying, they explain and define what bullying is. We also do a needs assessment through our counselors where it's anonymous, where students can confide with our counselors that way. We don't necessarily know who that student is, but it also lets us know if we have a problem within our school with kids not feeling comfortable telling an adult, or if kids are not feeling comfortable, you know, in their classes with their teachers, or if kids are feeling bullied. And we use that feedback to go back in and do additional teaching around those areas. We also have a variety of adults in our building that are working really hard to build relationships with students so that students do feel comfortable or can find that one person that they feel that they can confide in. We have an advisory 2 days a week for students, and that advisory teacher is also their 8th period teacher, so that students can build a better relationship with a teacher that they see on a daily basis, as another form of having students feel comfortable and safe with at least one adult in the building. It is a scary time. I know middle school is a scary time. It's a scary time for kids coming from the elementary school and for us as parents. But we do our very, very best to make it an opportunity for kids to grow and to explore and to learn how to navigate that social piece. Do we have any additional questions? Well, it doesn't look like we have any extra questions, so we do appreciate you joining us tonight, learning about Giaudrone, and if Giaudrone is a great fit for your kids. And again, this will be on our webpage for you to go back and review. If you'd like to, if you know of another parent that would like to learn more about Giaudrone, please steer them to our webpage so that they can also preview this and see if it's a good fit for their kids. We look forward to meeting you, hopefully, and have a great night.